Welcome to the Zesty Ginger Podcast. We are Megan and Dr. Alex. We are here for transformation. Yours, ours, and the collective. Personal and professional for practitioners. But not just any transformation. Compassionate transformation. Because between the two of us, we have seemed to have done things the painful way. Let our pitfalls become your stepping stones. We aren't afraid to share our raw and vulnerable truths in order to help you transform your thinking, your body, your heart, and your soul. Combining 15 years of functional medicine with brain-based habit change to lead you to the best life possible in a compassionate way. Compassion, yes, yet plan to roll up your sleeves. Transformation requires your participation. And a quick reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your doctor, not this doctor, before making changes. Now let's get into the episode.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a very special series on the Zesty Ginger podcast called the Possibility Series, the Series of Possibility. You've got it. This is a 30-day up-level primer for a new identity in 2023. Can you even believe? Can you all believe that? I'm like, what happened to 2000? Seems like yesterday. So, did you guys actually, I have a question for you. Did you all hear the rumor about butter? No, you didn't hear that? Well, I'm not going to spread it. Yes, dad jokes. Dad jokes are where it's at. And I thought, you know what? I'm silly. I like silly jokes. And I want to infuse more of me into the podcast. So each day, yes, each day of this 20-part series, you are going to get a silly dad joke for me to kick it off. Does that sound good? Because if we want something different, we are going to have to do something differently. Why not tap into your silly? Because we're all about possibility here. So, who here wants something different in 2023? Are you tired of just yet another year slipping away and feeling like you have not gotten anywhere towards your goal? Is that you? How about taking on some new habits? Some new habits in 2023. And one of the new habits, well, not even just 2023, but now in 2022. And I actually plan on listening to this series every year. So let's just say in every December. So who does the thing where it's December and then they're like, oh, it's December and like, you know what, it's going to be a bunch of holidays, it's going to be a bunch of food, it's going to be a bunch of stress, it's going to be a bunch of things. So I am just going to pause everything. All my daily habits, anything that I've gotten on track with, that I've been feeling good about it, I'm just going to pause any of that. And any of those things that I was thinking about doing, I'm definitely not going to start that now. If that's you, then that has been me in the past. What if we do December differently? What if we make December more about letting go of the all or nothing mindset? Now, we can do December differently and maybe not do all the things we always do, but what if we just commit to small things and not throw it all out, right? So can you commit to 5 to 10, we'll say minutes, you know, who knows? Sometimes we get talking. It goes a little bit longer, but 5 to 10 minutes with us every weekday in December. Can you commit to that? Can you raise your hand? Can you say yes out loud if you're in your car or if you're listening to me on your walk or who knows where I've found you? Maybe I don't want to know, but I would love for you to say it out loud right now. Yes, I commit, Megan, and send it to one friend. I am committed to listening to these short episodes to prime my brain for 2023. Are you in, friend? And then that friend can hold you accountable and can do it with you. Sound good? Okay. As with a lot of times where we do series like this and programs like this, and many of you have been through our habit trainings, we like to give away a little bonus for your commitment. It helps us support you. It helps you support you. It helps you get into, why am I actually doing this? Am I going to keep doing this? If you're like me, people like to win. I like to win prizes. I'm motivated by prizes. I win them. I win challenges and prizes, and it's fun. And it used to be like this. It's a new thing. So if you're not like that, I want you to go ahead and be open to the possibility, right? The series of possibility that it could be you. So 3 people are going to win a complimentary ticket. Yes, a complimentary ticket to our January in-person event. This is going to be in Virginia Beach, worth $297. And you will either win the ticket and or get reimbursed, because don't wait until the end of this series to actually purchase your ticket. If you know you want to come, I say go ahead and get it now. There are limited spots because this is an in-person room with an actual space. It's not online. And you do not want to miss the early bird $100 off investment that ends December 10th. So go ahead, come join us. We will put the link in the show notes. We have also made a shortened link for you podcast listeners who are on the go. If you go to zestyginger.com/Jan, Jan for January, that will take you to the details on the January event. Okay, and 3 people are going to win by doing some simple things. What are you going to do? You're going to listen to me every day in December. Not every day, but there's going to be 5 of these a week. Short. You're going to listen. You're going to fill in a super simple, basic workbook. Very, very simple. We will have the link to that in the show notes so that you can actually get the workbook. It's just to show your brain that you have showed up and done it. It's nothing too crazy. And leave us a review on iTunes, please, so that more people can find us and we can get amazing guests. It really, really does help us. It's free for you. It's super helpful for us. So if you like the show, I would please, please, please ask you to do that. And it will help you get a free ticket. And you will send us a screenshot of that and your workbook by January 3rd. Got it? So you get to go through each day with the belief that you can have a new identity, because this is all about the series of possibility. So why, Megan? Why did you create this? So I created this for myself. Yep. It's for me. It's for you too. Although everything that we have found to be super successful for ourselves or for you, we create for ourselves first because there's a need. It starts with a problem usually that we have, a problem a client has, or something we've experienced. I experienced a 30-day money series from our mentor, James Wedmore, in his business course, and I've probably listened to it 3 times now. It's such an amazing primer, and I thought, I want to have this kind of series, but just around an overall identity, not just money specifically, but like I am moving into a new identity, new habits, a new year. You could do this any time of year, but right, this is a really powerful time to do it. So this is what that series was birthed out of. I have hacked my own creativity and excitement over the years. And what I've found is that I thrive off going to regular in-person events, which is why we're hosting our first ever one that's open to everybody in January. You know, after the event, what can happen, and for those of you who go to regular events, and maybe you already have experienced this, but you get really excited, you go to the event, and during the event, you're doing all the things, and then you go home. And if you don't have a plan in place, it's hard to carry through. You maybe don't go towards your goal. You maybe don't keep up with all the amazing things you just learned. So this series is created to continue that momentum. So for those of you who just attended our in-person Transformation Accelerator coaching program, so that's our actual certification program that we do twice a year. It's 7 days. We had a fabulous group of ladies. Actually, both groups have been more than fabulous. The wins that they are sending us are just blowing me away. I believe in this stuff like 100%, and they're coming back with even bigger wins than I could have imagined. So it's been so cool. So the key is when they leave, or when you leave an event, is to then take the excitement of that possibility and have a support system, right? So that we can keep going with us. And this is what works well for me, and this is what this series is all about. It's possibility. So an old pattern I had would be waiting until January 1st to start things, to change things. And I just want you to think about the idea. Let's say you were going to run a 10K race on January 1st. Would you wait until January 1st to start in on that goal and prepare your body? I don't think you would. So think of this series as your successful training plan, your mental training plan for 2023. This is the training for the 10K of life that you're going to get into in a new year. Because the thing is, if you have not yet understood and listened to how important the female cycle is for all the ladies out there, then I suggest you really go back to season 1 of this podcast, where there's a ton of pod classes to really explain that. Because picking an arbitrary day, such as January 1st, might not align with you, lady. It might not align with your cycle of when it is the best time to just all of a sudden, here's my goal, I'm going to do it. So in a way, it's an arbitrary date, although there is a collective energy around January 1st. There is a community, and there is energy that's shifting into let's go towards something new. So in this sense, it is well worth riding and using that collective energy. Please check in with your cycle, because you can still ride that new identity and collective energy and not force something when you're in part of your cycle where it's time to rest, right? It doesn't mean it changes what you physically do. It'll just change which part of the process you do. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing in this series. Maybe you have another old pattern of the spiral of fragmented suffering, constantly trying new things, constantly jumping from one to another, constantly forcing and thinking if you do more and more and more. Anyone relate to that? If I could just find the right diet, the right plan, the right protocol, the right provider, blah, 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 blah. How many of us have done this? And not really looking at what's underneath that. So the new pattern that we are going to install in this series is the possibility. There's all the possibilities in the world. And we are resourceful. We just need to find the resources. So we believe that all of you here are leaders, and we are leaders. And leaders, often people, because maybe you lead your family, maybe you lead a team of people, maybe you lead a business, it doesn't matter. We're all leaders in some capacity, or we're hoping to be, or we're hoping you are, because we need more leaders. People are looking for leaders outside of them right now because they actually don't believe that they have a leader inside of them yet. And there can be a lack of transparency, so you don't feel like you know the whole story when you're looking to somebody outside of you. And then that leads to, why do they have that and I don't? Why are they there faster? And you just don't know the whole story. So we want to create the leaders, that we're all the leaders inside of us, so that we're not looking to and comparing to something and somebody that we don't even really know what's going on. And by being a leader, we also have to do what we're suggesting. And what we're suggesting is to be curious, to always be learning. And as I explained in my personal series, if you have not yet listened to my personal series, that's season 14, which, by the way, I just want to thank you all, because that went out during the summer while I was actually away on vacation with my family. I take 2 months off every summer. And I got so many messages while I was gone and when I got back, just amazing feedback of like saying, thank you for being open. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your truth and your story. I never knew all that about you. Some people had said things like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you went through any of that. That really changes how I see you as a leader. And every single message that I got like that, every single message that we get anywhere, really, it just helped me secure in like, yes, I'm doing this for a reason. And I'm so glad I did that, because that was difficult. It's tricky to put your whole life out there and all your feelings. So every single message, that feedback helped me to really, really be like, okay, I did this for a reason. So we're suggesting to always be learning, to always be curious. Because in that series, in season 14, I also shared one of the events I went to was a Dr. Joe Dispenza event. And he is obsessed with spontaneous remission. And I became obsessed with spontaneous remission because I started to see patterns of people who are doing all the things so amazingly well and not getting better. And then there was the patterns of literally these people starting to walk when they were in a wheelchair after a week at a meditation event, like crazy stuff, right? And I started to really ask around. I'm a curious person. I started to ask around all the people at the event. A lot of them had been to like 10 events, 12 events, whatever. A lot of them had actually had personal situations. I have a friend who had cancer who no longer does. Like they had these crazy moments and healings and different situations during the event. So I started to ask, like, what was it that you did? You know, I'm like, how did this work, right? Why I'm here at this event. Like I'd had some really cool meditations, but hadn't had like that level. So what they said, every single person that I talked to that had like a spontaneous remission or super crazy results, they said they watched every single testimonial video ever put out there, in this case by Dr. Joe, right? But the idea that there were people out there that looked like them, that talked like them, that were similar, that were able to change their brain, change their life, and change the physical body. Like they had gotten, they no longer had the thing they used to have. And this made it possible, the possibility for them. So there it was the possibility. And then the consistency, people who were doing the meditations over 6 months, and then an understanding. So Dr. Joe's amazing at explaining the brain, and Dr. Alex is amazing at explaining the brain. So it's really just understanding. That's why a lot of our episodes do have the nitty gritty of what's happening, because once you understand why you're doing what you're doing, it's easier to do it, and it actually makes more impact. So after a while, I'll have lots of things that I just do, and people will be like, oh, well, what's the science behind that? And why do you do that? And at this point, I'm like, gosh, I don't even remember anymore. Like this is just so secure in my belief system because this is what I now do. And at some time, I really did study each thing. I used to be much more into the details and the science of it. And then over time, I started to be like, okay, cool, science is cool. And there's certain things that work. I'm just going to stick with those. So we are going to wire our brains for possibility. And what do you fill your time with? So are you wiring your brain for possibility, or are you constantly a Debbie Downer, or around a lot of people who are Debbie Downers? Or are people around you like, yeah, we can do it. Let's just come up with a way and have ideas and possibility. And for this reason, we're going to end each of these episodes during this series with a little possibility. I have reached out to some of the amazing women in our community who have gone through different programs with us, or worked with us in different ways, who are really doing the work. And they are going to share a 1 to 2 minute version of what their possibility and what their identity is and what's been made possible by doing the work. Cool? Okay, so now you kind of know why of all we're doing what we're doing. Now, are you willing today to play a little game with us? And yes, today's episode will be longer than 5 to 10 minutes because I'm introing everything. So here is the game. What if for just 1 month, the month of December, or whatever month you're listening to this, you were to try this on for size, like it's just a game? Let me share a little bit more about this. So in order to do the training and certifications that we're now doing in person, I took a trainer's training, and it was an 18-day training, and it was intense. It was also a speaker training, so learning to speak on stages, learning to speak and share my truth in a way that's powerful. And in this process, the training is set up so that it's difficult. I mean, they say they want it to be the hardest and most comprehensive speaker training ever, and it was pretty intense. So what's happening here is there's a bunch of different variables of like things that may happen when you're speaking, or being on your toes, or being put on the spot, or having long days, or, maybe you have to pee, but you still have to be on stage, right? There's all these different possibilities, people yelling at you saying you're no good. And in this training, we're essentially going through and doing things over and over and over again, because over time, obviously, there's going to be a day where maybe you had a headache, or going to be a day where it's your time to speak and you have to pee, or there's going to be a day where you don't nail it and you're able to feel that in your body, right? Like, okay, I did it, I survived, nothing horrible happened, because like public speaking is like the top fear apparently in the US. So over time, you're kind of training into your neurology, like I'm okay and I can do this. So I went into this training knowing that this was for me, this was for my highest good. And I also knew there may be parts of this I really didn't like, and there were. And when I got to those parts that I didn't like, and I said, this is painful, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, I trusted the process and I trusted the container. I was like, okay, literally, I know this whole irritation, annoying thing that's happening right now is for me, and my high is good, and it's for my learning. Didn't feel it at the moment, although I was committed. So when I left that training, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I went through life believing that this container is actually here to teach me my highest good. Like every single thing I learn and do and run into is actually here to be a mirror for me and to teach me, to help me transform. Everything has its purpose. What if I were to believe that? I don't know. What if I were to believe that? Because in that trainer's training setting, that speaker setting, it was super powerful to just be like, I'm okay. I'm here. I'm going with it. I'm not trying to control. I'm not trying to anticipate. I'm going to do what the next thing is that happens. And when I let go of that, everything flowed and it went really, really well. When I was trying to anticipate, read ahead, see if I could figure it out, it was exhausting. So I came up with some rules of the game. If I were to go ahead and map this over to my own life and just take this on, that being here on earth, being here at this time in this place with this family and these people and where we are is actually kind of like a game. Now, as we say, just try this on for size. This doesn't have to be your beliefs. This doesn't have to fit. This doesn't have to be your model of the world. But what if you were to act as if? So for 1 month. So here's the game. And I'm going to read the rules of the game. It's a reminder. So remember, you are in a game. Life is not a battle, but a game you signed up for. Number 2, that was number 1. You not only agreed to this game, there's the theory, you may be paid good compensation. Maybe you waited in a long line to join this game. It may not always seem it in the moment, yet it is always for your highest good. Number 3, each interaction in your life, each event, each emotion is placed there specifically for you and only you. What if everything is a holograph around you and you're the only one that exists? It's like you're in a video game and there are no chances and nothing without purpose. Whatever you give, you'll receive. Whatever you focus on, you'll get more of. And whatever you seek, you will find. Number 4, relaxing into the game makes it more enjoyable. Watch for how ridiculous the players and events are around you to trigger you. And there will be no doubt in your mind that this is a game. The specificity and timing to push those buttons could never have been done by chance. And as you evolve, the levels will move more quickly, and the feedback will be immediate as to whether you are on track in the game or not. The faster the feedback, the higher you know you are in the game. Most importantly, have fun. It's just a game after all. So good luck. You've got this. I want to see you tomorrow to learn more. And if you want to wire this in faster to your neurology, rewiring the brain takes repetition. So if you want an add-on to upgrade in this free series, you can go ahead and purchase a daily hypnosis audio called our Staircase Meditation for only $10 by going over to zestyginger.com/meditations. Go ahead and scroll down. It's the second one on the list. It's called the Staircase Meditation. If you add that daily, I think it's only 12 minutes. It's short. Add that daily to this, and I cannot wait to see the new identity, the person you show up as in 2023. And if you want to double down on these results, come to our event in January. So you can buy your tickets now. If you have the pattern of waiting until you get all the details before you do something, or just waiting until other people, or waiting to say, oh, I don't know, can I really do that for myself? If this is your pattern and other people are doing this pattern around you to you and it's annoying, go ahead and break this projection right now by just committing now, doing it now, joining now. We say to our clients, however you want people to act with you is how you will act with them. So if you want them to jump in and trust you and go all in and be ready, then you will do the same thing. So come on down, zestyginger.com/Jan, Jan, for January to join our event. And we always reward the early birds, so I suggest you jump on that. And now I'd like to end with a little bit of possibility.
I used to think that there was a very specific road, a very specific plan, a way that would get me out of my stress, that I should move forward with my health or with my career or with anything really, that had to be done a particular way. And if I wasn't doing it right, and if I wasn't doing all the things, then I was the reason why X, Y, and Z wasn't getting better. What I learned is that there is another option. There's the possibility of doing parasympathetic tools that you actually enjoy, like going outside or singing a song. There was the possibility of being able to be my own advocate and make my own plan for what worked for me. And it didn't have to be doing all the things all the time. And come to find out, that's what helped me take care of my body. That's what helped me take care of my mind, was finding something that was supportive of me and realizing that it didn't have to be what worked for someone else. It didn't have to be everything. And it didn't have to be even the things that supported me. It didn't have to be all of them every single day. It was creating a different relationship with the things that we can do to make ourselves feel better, whether it's exercise or journaling or parasympathetic tools or spending time with friends and family or creating boundaries. I just found that I can actually listen to my own brain and let the rest just kind of fall into place.
Thanks for coming out to hang with us on the podcast. It is our goal to transform the way women are treated in healthcare. And we need your help. We need your help to get the word out. We have a lofty goal of 1 million downloads. And we know that as this podcast grows, we're going to be able to reach more women, get more amazing speakers for you, and bring the most cutting-edge information.
If you found these podclasses helpful, please take a moment to text 5 women you know the link to the series. We appreciate your help so much. Can't wait to see you next time.